Make sure you download the Woodward Sports app in the App Store and the Google Play Store today. Take Woodward Sports with you wherever you go and listen live on your phone or mobile device.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Morning Woodward Show here on the Woodward Sports Network. Thank you to everybody joining us as always. WoodwardSports.com. Jeff Iafrate, Adam Beydoun. Jeff, good morning, buddy. How are you?
I'm good. Watched the Wings last night. It was a tough loss to digest, but also got to see Dan Campbell and Pat McAfee, so it was a good day yesterday. He was quite the character.
That was fun.
It was hilarious.
That was fun. We had a good show today. I'm excited. You know, we'll get into the playoff talk really to start, and whether or not this team is a legit threat in the playoffs. But coming up later, obviously we got to react to Dan Campbell and Pat McAfee. It was hilarious. If you didn't miss it, or if you didn't catch it, he was joking.
Yeah.
Maybe. Sure. Sarcasm is a lost art, man.
Yeah.
People
especially with Dan, because he has such.
What are you gonna do?
Yeah.
What are you gonna do? What can we learn from the early start of the year, and what they've been over the last 6 weeks?
Yep.
What's working? What isn't? Jared Goff has been at the center of almost every headline for his impressive play, and I have a theory on this, and I don't think it's groundbreaking, but I think it's important to have a conversation about it with Jared Goff, because I don't care what side of the fence you are. I don't really care what side of the fence you're on with Jared Goff. What I care about is, where can we find common ground? Because that common ground likely is going to be your next year's starting quarterback. So get used to it. We'll have that conversation top of the hour. What's real, what's fake? 9:15. We got to talk about... I don't want to talk about them, but we're going to do it. We're going to talk about the Pistons. They suck.
Yeah, they do.
They suck. Fish, shut the hell up. So it's going to be a fun show, and let's get it started. The way every show should start: are the Detroit Lions a legitimate threat if they make the playoffs? Right now they got about a 17% chance to make it, and I'm here for it. The Commanders and the Giants, and not really the Commanders, it's really the Seahawks and the Giants have just hit a stone wall. Can't find a way to win a game. At one point, both teams were 6-2 or 6-3, I believe. At one point, they're sitting there at 7-5-1, 7-6. It's a struggle right now. It's a struggle for both teams, and they're not going to win their divisions, so they're going to have to be in the wild card. And they still play very difficult teams in their division. So the Lions have a chance. This isn't, well, maybe, or if these two teams lose 3 games, maybe. No. It's in your hands. You win out, you're in. That's a fact, 100%. You win 3 out of the next 4, I would give you a 70% chance of getting it. If you win 3 of the next 4. The only problem you have is that stupid tiebreaker. That tie against Washington and New York may very well get a 9-7-1 team in over you at 9-8. That's why winning out is the only way to get in. But I think they have a chance. I really do. And I can't believe I'm even saying this. Because if you would have told me this 6-7 weeks ago, I would have laughed at you and gave you the middle finger. But we evolve. We're humans. And here we are.
Yep.
Jeff, are they a legit threat if they make the playoffs?
Oh, absolutely they are. Especially with this defense playing the way they're playing. I mean, if you look at the 1-6 start, how historically bad their defense was. Now guys are getting healthy. Guys are playing better. And if they win out, Adam, and they go 10-7, that would mean over the last 10 games they were 9-1.
Insane.
That's a dangerous team, especially because we know they're one of the better offenses in the NFL. Defensively, if you can just be subpar, if you can be middle of the pack defensively, there is no question they're a threat. I mean, let's look at current teams. I mean, you've already mentioned it. The Giants, I think they're better than the Giants if they were to square off. I think they have the better offense, and defensively, if they can do what they did against the New York Giants a couple games ago, they're better than the Giants. I mean, there's no question. You bring up the Commanders, I think they're better than the Commanders. You beat them earlier in the year. This is Taylor Heineke now. But still, if this defense, like I said, can be subpar, they're dangerous because they have, if you talk about offenses in the NFC, the only 2 teams or 3 teams you could say that have a better offense would be Philly, Dallas. If you want to say Dallas, it's probably more of a toss-up, but they've been playing really well lately. And then I throw in the 49ers with Jimmy, but with Brock, I think with Jimmy they're more dangerous. But still, that means the Detroit Lions, one of the best offenses in the entire NFL, and I'm telling you, defensively, if they don't play like they did at 1-6, there's no question. I mean, it's going to be hard to match up with them. They can beat you in so many different ways, and they showed you that this season. I mean, the Jaguars, they couldn't run the ball. You put the ball in Jared Goff's hands, you blow a team out. Last week, you couldn't run the ball again. You put the ball back in Jared Goff's hands, you beat the Vikings, the division leaders in the NFC North. And we've seen early in the year they can destroy teams on the ground. So they can beat you in so many different ways, Adam. That's why defensively, that's probably the most important part of this. If defensively they can create turnovers, because you don't have to be a top 10 defense. You can be 15th, 16th, 17th. But if you can create turnovers, Adam, this team becomes that's much more dangerous. Well.
This is still a team that's giving up a ton of yards a game. This is still a secondary that's
But they've
struggling.
been better against the run, which has been huge.
They've been better against the run. They've been more opportunistic in takeaways. It's special. It's special because, Jeff, if I told you they finished 2-2, that means they finished 7-3 down the stretch. If they win 3 of 4, they go 8-2 down the stretch. And if they win out, like you said, that's 9-1 down the stretch. And I don't buy it's not how you start, it's how you finish. I think that's a ton of crap. Because when you start as bad as the Detroit Lions did, it causes chaos, causes confusion, and more importantly, if you would have just been 3-3, 3-4, 4-3 to start, just win every other game, and then you got hot, then you can tell me, oh yeah, it's not how you start, it's how you finish. Well, because you were middle of the pack, and then you just got really hot. But you were really cold, and now you're really hot. And we'll talk more about that at 9 o'clock. I don't really want to get into that, but they are a legit threat. Who can't they beat in the NFC? Who? You name me the teams. Philly?
I don't want to say
Niners?
They can't beat anybody.
The Niners?
I think they could beat everybody, but you're going to struggle against those like Philly. They're more of a complete team. And yes, you bring up
beat the Bears. Or excuse me, let me rephrase this. They can beat the Bears. They've already proven it.
Yes.
They can beat the Rams. They can beat the Saints. They can beat the Cardinals. Mm-hmm. They can beat the Falcons. And not only that, they would be the favorites against the Bears. They would be the favorites against the Rams, the Saints, the Cardinals, the Falcons, the Packers, the Panthers.
Yep.
And they lost by 3 points to the Seahawks. They dominated the Giants. I think they would beat Washington again.
Yep.
Dallas, that would be a difficult game. I would still give the Lions a chance. Tampa Bay, I
pick the Lions.
I'd pick the Lions over Tampa Bay right now. The Niners, I would take the Niners.
Yeah. Especially with Jimmy G.
The Vikings, you just watched it twice this year.
Mm-hmm.
They were the better team in both games. And the Eagles, I'm going to go with the Eagles.
Yep. We agree.
So the Niners and the Eagles are the two teams you and I agree on. Where we're like, yeah, that would temper. Let's relax. Slow your roll a little bit. But why? Why is it that the Lions are so much better than all these teams? Well, let's start with the offense. The Lions have a better offense than the Bears, better offense than the Rams, better offense than the Saints, Cardinals, Falcons, Panthers, Packers, Seahawks, Giants, Commanders, Buccaneers. And I could argue the Cowboys. And there's only one team in the NFL that scored more than 30 points 7 times this year. That's the Lions. And that ties their franchise record. And they're probably going to break it this year.
Mm-hmm.
This is the most explosive offense in the NFC outside of the Niners and the Eagles. Let's go to the offensive line. They've got a better offensive line than most of the entire NFC outside of maybe a handful. So what are we seeing now? What's the conversation? Well, the trend is the Lions actually have a top 3, top 4, top 5 roster / offense / offensive line. Depends what you want to pick, what variable you want to choose.
Right.
They're top 5 in the NFC. This is one of the better teams in the NFC. And they were one of the better teams when they were 1-6. Let's not forget this. The conversation was, you are not a 1-6 football team. You're much better than what your record indicates. Don't give me the excuse of youth and experience. Your coach was costing you games. So clean it up or get the fuck out. And they didn't just clean it up, Jeff. They cleaned it up, and they are soaring at the moment.
Yep.
Who's better? Lions have a better offense than Seattle, better offense than the Giants, better offense than the Commanders. Packers, Panthers, Falcons, better offense than all of them.
Yeah.
Now, defensively, that's where you have a different conversation. But their defense has been one of the better defenses over the last 7 weeks.
Yeah.
It's not up for debate. Statistically, they've been one of the better defenses.
Yep. Playing like a top 15 defense.
So, how do I not say all this? How do I not acknowledge that outside of Philly and San Francisco, there is no dangerous team? Maybe Dallas. Maybe I'm being a bit unfair to Dallas.
With how they're playing lately, yes.
So there are 3 teams in the NFC that you name me and I say, yeah, they would. I'd probably pick them to beat the Lions.
Yeah.
But every other team on that list, why would I not pick the Lions? Lions have the better offensive line. Lions, I would say, have better quarterback play. Maybe not the better quarterback, but quarterback play in the moment right now. Jared Goff playing better than a majority of those quarterbacks. The offense is better. The defense has been better than most of those teams. Why would you fear the Giants, the Seahawks, the Buccaneers? Why? The Vikings, who you've been the better team against twice this year. Why? It's insane to me. So yes, when you say it's not how you start, it's how you finish, that is a lie. It's only a non-issue if you start 3-4 or 4-3 or 5-4 and then you get hot. Then you can say, all right, we were winning every other game, we were finding our balance, and then, boy, we found our stride and we ran. That's different. Mm-hmm. And then showing your ass for 7 weeks, starting 1-6, and now having to be the first team since the 1970 Washington Redskins to make the playoffs after starting 1-6. That's not ideal. Dan Campbell will admit, hey, that's not how you want to start a season ever. Nobody wants to start 1-6 and then have to claw their way to try and make it to the playoffs. You would much rather have taken 3-4 in that stretch, because if you are 3-4 in that stretch,
looks a little different.
You know what happens, Jeff? You're a 10-5 football team right now.
You're fighting to stay in the playoffs.
Or excuse me, 10-5. You'd be a 9-6. Am I doing the math right?
Regardless, I mean, you'd be.
I think I'm doing the math wrong here. If you would have started 3-4, and then you won 5 of your last 6, you would have been 8-5.
Yeah.
There you go. Sorry, I knew my math was wrong. I apologize, guys.
So you'd be fighting to stay.
You'd be
in the
8-5. You'd be ahead of all these teams in the wild card hunt,
right?
And you would actually be in the division hunt if you started with a better losing record this season. Think about that. You would only be You would only be 2 games out of your division, and that would have been my expectation for year 3, not even year 2. Of course, they're dangerous. They play a style of football nobody likes to play. Physical in the trenches. Dynamic offensively. Unpredictable. They can run on 3 downs. They can throw it on 3 downs. They don't care. You never know what you're getting. And that's why for the last 6 weeks, Ben Johnson, he's getting all this praise. He should. This offense is unpredictable. Mm-hmm. You think they were going to... Anybody would have called Penei Sewell getting that... Anybody would have called that Penei Sewell play?
Oh, it's unbelievable.
The fake punt,
and
up 7 in your own territory.
And as much as they spread the ball around, I mean, it's so unpredictable. I mean,
8 different players caught a first down in the game on Sunday.
Like, how do you game plan for that? And on top of it, I know the big question for me personally is, yes, if you make the wild card, you're going on the road. You're going to play on the road. So this is why these next 4 games are a good test for Dan, for the entire team, for the Detroit Lions, to kind of measure their success on the road, because they showed. They beat Chicago. They beat the New York Giants. I want to see that continue because, hey, if you make the wild card spot, you're going to go somewhere. You could go to Minnesota, which they've almost beat. I mean, they beat them, obviously, last week, but they almost beat them earlier in the year if it wasn't for that blown play by Juju. So, again, I really do. I think they're one of the more dangerous teams in the NFL.
I'm not understanding this. Dan Campbell, Jack Johnson says, Dan Campbell would also agree that if you're missing 75% of the talent you had on offense at the beginning of the year, it's going to be hard to win games. Last I checked, that was a top 3 offense in the NFL for the first 4 or 5 games of the year.
75% of the offense.
Who are they missing?
That's a lot of the offense.
Jameson Williams is still not back, so that doesn't count. Who? Chark? Swift? Swift played the first 3 games very well, and then he got dinged up. I'm not understanding that comment. Let's take a break. When we get back, let's continue the conversation a little bit, revisit what Dan Campbell said on Pat McAfee yesterday.
Oh, it was great.
He's a character. You know, whatever you think about him, whatever I think about him, dude's at least a character. But let's take a break. When we get back, we'll have the conversation. Jeff, our good friends over at Guardian Alarm.
Well, guys, we talk about a middle-of-the-pack defense. I'll give you an elite defense, and that's Guardian Alarm because, guys, let Guardian Alarm give you peace of mind while you're inside, staying out of the cold. Just call 1-800-STAY-OUT today, and you can rest easy knowing you have 24/7 protection. That's 1-800-STAY-OUT. Let them know your friends at Woodward Sports sent you.
It's back. Year 3 of Woodward Sports Stuff a Studio is here. The past 2 years, we've collected new unwrapped toys and stuffed our studio so we could hardly fit in it. This year, we're doing it even bigger. Join Woodward Sports and our whole family December 19th to the 23rd as we stuff our studio. While you're out shopping or just sitting on your couch ordering presents, make sure you grab one extra and drop it off at our studio, 15 Mile in Woodward in Birmingham. We'll be collecting toys around the clock to make sure every child in Mott's Children's Hospital feels the warmth of the holiday season. It's the time of year to do for others. Help us stuff our studio. Special thanks to all the wonderful elves at Meyer and Guardian Alarm for keeping the toys safe. Stuff a Studio 2022 with Woodward Sports.
Introducing the Planet Fitness Guide to getting that post-workout glow. Step 1. What's your why? More epic energy? Better sleep? Blow off steam? Step 2. Join Planet Fitness for just $10 a month and get moving in our clean and spacious clubs. Step 3. Bask in that post-workout glow. Join Planet Fitness today for just $10 a month.
Join today at any of the 50-plus Detroit area locations.
It's a great day to get some Centron in your life. Okay. There it is. Centron, here we go. Gotta grab the cranberry. Oh wait, it's 2 for $4. Gotta double up with the classic as well. Centron World, baby. Centron, available at select Kroger's, and if you wanna know how, go to @CentronWorld.com. You get dope like me. You know what? Why wait? Great taste, guaranteed.
We are the network for Detroit by Detroiters. Welcome to the Woodward Sports Network.
Jeff Iafrate here. Let me tell you about our friends at Moneyball Sportswear because it is your one-stop shop. Whether you want the latest look in athletic apparel or you simply need new uniforms for your team, Moneyball has it all. Stop in Moneyball showroom in Southfield and experience the only way to ball. Visit MoneyballSportswear.com.
Oh, goodness me. We're back here on the Morning Woodward Show live, 8:18. Fish, good morning, buddy.
Good morning.
How you feeling?
I'm feeling great. We got another World Cup game today. How do you not?
Yes, we do.
Yesterday, I actually thought yesterday was fine.
What is it?
I thought yesterday was fine.
A
lot of people didn't like it because it was a blowout, but
I see your Messi hat trick didn't hit.
It didn't, but that was one of many. We had the Messi anytime goal, anytime assist. That one hit. We had Argentina to qualify. That one hit. So it was a good day. But let's start with Dan Campbell on Pat McAfee. Made his first appearance on the Pat McAfee Show, and those guys do such a great job as always. Evan Foxy, obviously the resident big-time Lions fan on that show. Yeah. And what you're about to watch was nothing short of hilarious. And let's just play it. I don't even want to say anything else. Let's just play the Pat McAfee skit.
On special teams, we're running fake punts on our own 27, on 4th and 7, up 7, and executing it and pulling it off. Like, every coach wants that to happen. Do you think because you guys are all former players, it gives you a little bit more leeway with the current players? And have you seen a benefit to a player-led coaching staff that you have? Not everybody, but a lot of players coaching on your staff.
Well, first of all, here's what happened on that. My button, I didn't get it down fast enough, and I was saying don't run it, and Phip heard me say run it, and then before I knew it, it just hit. So
yes,
it worked out great.
A service issue. That's like that commercial.
Yeah, that's right. here's another thing that happened. These things happen during the game, but so we're in that situation, and the fans are doing the wave around the stadium, and so I'm just watching, and I hear Ben Johnson's like, "Hey, coach, you want to?" And I'm so focused on the wave, and I said, "Yeah, that's fine." And I look up, and we're throwing it to Panay, and I'm like, "What the fuck are we doing?" He said it was fine. So, but it worked out great. It was unbelievable. Listen, we knew it would be wide open. We worked the heck out of it. We've seen him run the reps. We've seen him flip his hips. He's got soft hands. And the only thing the only thing I was worried about that I want to make sure Goff got to him was make sure you stay in bounds. Stay in bounds, stay in bounds. And he was great.
That's good.
This guy is
he's
something.
Yeah, he's great. He's got dry humor too, so I think that kind of gets lost in in the mix a little bit. But he even said, I mean, Ben Johnson, he's like, what was the play call? And then he even said after, he's like, I made sure to tell Goff to make sure Panay gets out of bounds. It's like, if he wasn't listening, then why did he communicate? Like, clearly he was joking. I mean, it was clear. I think he just plays into the narrative. I mean, Dan Campbell's known as the, quite frankly, a meathead, and he kind of plays into that sometimes. And with Pat McAfee, that show makes.
And why wouldn't he right now? He's 5-1 over the last 6 games. He's the talk of town. He's the talk of the NFL. And 6 weeks ago, he probably wouldn't have gone on a show or any show for that matter and made a joke because there was nothing funny about starting 1-6, and suddenly 5-1, and you're now 6-7 on the year. You are the favorite going into New York against the Jets. Watch out. Watch out. Overall, my takeaway from his interview was very simple. He's more comfortable. Winning helps, right? Winning does help. But I did like what he said about staying the course.
Yeah.
Throughout the whole process, even when it was 1-6 at rock bottom and everything was shit. Stay the course. It's going to turn eventually. And from the outside, that is not really ever an acceptable answer, especially when you're not inside of the building. You don't understand what's going on. You're not really sure what the vibe is, what the message is. So you're really taking all the information you're given from an outside perspective and trying to relay your own message. Well, they stuck to the course, and they've suddenly now won 5 of 6. He's made less mistakes. Mm-hmm. His quarterback is playing at a Pro Bowl level. The offensive line is doing what we all expected it to do. The run game has been consistent. The defense, I believe, 13 straight games with a takeaway? That's nice. That's helpful. I'll take that. You've won the turnover battle, I believe, 6 straight weeks in a row. I mean, they're just doing... nothing drastically changed. That's the funny part. The offense was always good. We knew this.
Right.
Yes, St. Brown missing New England. Well, he didn't miss. He played, but he was banged up. It was basically irrelevant out there.
He was on one leg.
Him missing Dallas because of a fake concussion, that hurts. All right, we can all agree. But it wasn't just that the team got healthy. There's something more, much more deeper that's happening here. They haven't just learned, quote, how to win. They've realized they don't have to go out there and win these games, right, or Josh Allen on the road, right? And it's those subtle realizations from this coaching staff who deserved a lot of the blame in the beginning, who now get a lot of the credit. Where it's, you know what? How about we just punt here? And we make them do something. Oh, they 3 and out? Cool, offense. Go back out there. Do what you do. Because you trust the offense. The offense is the best part of this team. It's the most completely... It's one of the most complete built offenses in the NFC right now.
Yeah, it's their strength, by far.
It is absolutely their strength. So now they're not getting in their own way. The 4th and 9s have stopped. The 4th and 7s have stopped. The onside kicks have stopped. The timeouts in and out of half have stopped. Clock management, I still think needs to be a little better, but no problem. You can get better at it. I'm not going to focus on that today. So you have seen a total shift in strategy and the mentality of this coach, and he's being rewarded for it. There's a reason they're winning games. It's not because on accident or the flip of a switch, hey, we're just not being stupid anymore. A lot of factors, of course. But I think the biggest one is these coaches, when they got rid of Pleasant, it held everybody in that room accountable, from the coaches to the players. Like, hey, this is real. We keep this up, none of us are going to have a job. So it lit a fire up their ass, number one. Number two, Dan Campbell, again, is letting the game come to him. What did we talk about before the Minnesota game with Kevin O'Connell? He hadn't gone out and made a mistake all year. He didn't put his team in a bad spot, get over-aggressive, set them up for failure at any point in the season, right? What do you do? Offside, 4th and 1, they get stuffed, lines go down. Boom. 7-0. Late in the game, clock management. Going for it on 3rd and play calling really sporadic at the not being aware on special teams that this is a team that likes to go for it if you give them those looks, right? So it was Kevin O'Connell, and then it was Eberflus, and then it was Matt LaFleur and Aaron Rodgers making the mistakes, and then it was Daniel Jones making the mistakes along with Brian Dable. So now all these teams are making mistakes while you're just sitting there on the sideline saying, let's take what we get. We know we have a really good offense. We're going to believe in them, and let's set up our defense for success by not putting them in awkward situations. You're 5-1 since. What more can I say?
I love my favorite quote, too. My second favorite quote, other than those two that were hilarious, was him bringing up Sheila and saying that one of the best things about this is really the reins have been turned over to Brad and myself, talking about his relationship with Sheila and how they operate, which, again, that's great. The fact that, she trusts them, and she already came out early in the year and said, be patient, which frustrated a lot of people. You're 1-6, and you hear Dan Campbell in the press conference, we're so close. But to be honest with you, now looking at the last 6 games, you realize that they really were close. All it took was his defense to not only create turnovers, but to be a more consistent defense and not be historically bad, not be the worst in the NFL. And since doing that, the defense improving, they fire Aubrey Pleasant, you saw the shift. I know the secondary still needs a lot of help, but overall, defensively, they've played a little bit better. And offensively, that's been the most consistent unit all year. So with Dan Campbell, these last 6 games, I don't know how anybody cannot be sold on Dan right now. Now, to say, I know Evan Foxy on Pat McAfee joking said, give him a lifetime contract. I don't know if I'm that, you're not there yet. But still, Dan deserves all the confidence.
Can I say
He's
something?
proven that. And he's grown as a head coach.
Call me what you want. All right? When we say stuff like that, give him a lifetime. He has the key to the city in the palm of his hands.
Yeah, if he wins a playoff game.
He is coaching the one team where if you even make the playoffs, I could argue it's more important than getting out of the first or second round in the playoffs for basketball or hockey. Just making it. Dare I say win a game, right? He has an opportunity, and to his credit, because I have given him a lot of shit, to his credit, it's looked different. I'm going to use that word very aggressively. Different the last 6 weeks. You're not going out there anymore, Jeff, and just flying by the seat of your pants and, are we going to win? We won that game. We got out alive. All right, on to the next one. Or, oh my God, last second field goal. Here we go. Come on, 4th quarter comeback because we sucked for the first 3. No. None of that. Jeff, his bad is really fucking bad. But his good? Jeff.
I don't think we've seen it, the ceiling yet.
His wins, his good as a coach, Dan Campbell, I'm telling you right now, you want to go through the NFC? There's only 2 teams that have more impressive wins than they do. Eagles, Niners. But when the Lions win, they win from minute 1 to minute 60. They play 4 quarters, and they smother you. Offensively, and now we're seeing recently defensively. His good is fucking scary, in a good way. So I don't mind when Evan or anybody else are sitting here and saying, holy shit, do you guys see this? Because yeah, I do. But then there's the 1-6. So like, where do I draw the line? Where's the common ground here?
Right.
So which one is it? And I know we had this conversation yesterday, and that's where my head's always going to be right now, going into next season. Now, hopefully they make a run, they are on a run, but hopefully they continue this run. And they are a viable threat to make it in the playoffs. That would be one of the best coaching jobs I've seen by a Lions coach maybe in my lifetime.
Only one other team to make the playoffs after starting 1-6.
So it would be
they'd be the second.
It would be unbelievable. Having said that, I'm kind of not upset when people say, Dan's the guy. Because when I tell you he isn't, and he's a turd, and they're 1-6, I have my reasons. And just like you have your reasons now, since then, they're 5-1. And I'm not going to lie to you guys. They look fucking good. This isn't a football team that's winning games on the seat of their pants like the Vikings have multiple times this year.
Right.
This is a team that's going out and winning from the first minute to the last minute. That's a big difference. His good is scary. His good is actually really good. His good can win you divisions and win you playoff games.
I agree.
But which one is it? I want to believe it's the good, obviously. It's a little biased in me, but still. So which one is it? We'll take a break. When we get back, do the Lions have a shot at winning out? Is this actually happening? And I want to revisit Dan a little bit because he plays a big role in this. How it's changed, and do they win out? We'll go through the schedule. We'll take your questions in the chat, of course, as always. But before we go, Jeff, our good friends over at Big Boy.
Well, guys, wintertime in Detroit is always better with comfort foods from Big Boy. You could try the classic meatloaf or Cajun chicken Alfredo, but how about breakfast as well? The stuffed potato pancakes are back, the lumberjack Santa Fe Garden, or the Blockbuster. Stop by your local Big Boy today.
Love Woodward Sports? Love wearing clothes? Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports clothes. Check out our full line of merch at woodwardsports.com. Just click on Shop. We have all your favorite designs, like Dan Campbell kneecaps, Beverly Hills Golf, Woodward Golf, and of course, our own logoed out merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog. Buy Woodward Sports merch today.
When it comes to making your haircut truly an experience, there's no better place than Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Come to any one of our 26 Metro Detroit locations for an award-winning haircut experience and qualify for a chance to win a down payment for your dream home up to $200,000. Our precision haircut and talented stylists will have you looking good, feeling good, and give you a chance to change your life forever. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. It's wicked awesome.
Jeff Okuda and Wicked Awesome Wishes present Hope for the Holidays. Jeff Okuda gives his financial support, time, and love for the city of Detroit with Chad Johnson and his amazing foundation, Wicked Awesome Wishes. Together, Jeff and Chad have been game planning all year long to make this Christmas one to remember for underprivileged children and their families. Special thanks to Lions players Amon-Ra St. Brown, Tracy Walker, Will Harris, and more, along with Lions alumni Lomas Brown and Joyak Bell, and the awesome people at Lighthouse Coolidge Community Building in Oak Park. Together, we'll make sure every child has new shoes, warm coats, hats, and socks, plus free haircuts to help everyone feel their best. And don't forget Woodward Sports' Braylon Edwards, Ryan Ermanni, and Darren McCarty will be there too. Hope for the holidays from Jeff Okuda and Wicked Awesome Wishes. You have an opinion? Make sure it's seen and heard. Corner, jumper. Tweet us, hop on the YouTube chat, slide in the DMS at Woodward Sports on all social media. Get a shot up. This is for the win. All of Detroit's sports teams live on Woodward. All of Detroit's sports coverage lives on Woodward Sports. Driving the best in Detroit sports coverage.
Chili Pepper Tanning is where you'll find all the cleanest salons in the D with spotless, sanitized rooms and trained and certified tanning professionals. You can join the Pepper Club for all the best deals. They'll beat all competitors by $5. ChiliPepperStanning.com. Hottest bulbs, hottest deals, darkest tans. Your Vitamin D headquarters, 27 locations, and more on the way.
All right, we are back here on the Morning Woodward Show live, woodwardsports.com. Jeff, Jets, Panthers, Bears, Packers. I don't want to get ahead of myself. But just like we talk about the Lions, nobody wants to play the Lions right now. If you're a Jets fan, oh shit, we're trying to make the playoffs and we have this team on our schedule right now, really? So, I think 3 or 4 is realistic. if you somehow win out, you own the city for the next 2-3 years.
Yeah. You go 9-1 down the stretch.
Finish 10-6. 10-7.
Yeah, 10-7.
Ridiculous. Having said that, do they have a legitimate shot of winning out? I think 3 or 4 is realistic. I do. How realistic is 4-0?
I don't think it's far. I mean, if you think they can win 3 out of 4, then 4 out of 4 shouldn't be that far off, and especially how they've been playing. You look at the upcoming schedule, 3 out of the next 4 games are on the road. That's probably my biggest concern, and that's a huge test for this team currently, because if you can win 3 out of 4 games, or excuse me, you can win 4 out of 4 games, 3 of those on the road, and you make the postseason, imagine the confidence among this fan base traveling somewhere and you face maybe a Minnesota. My goodness, the confidence is going to be at an all-time high. So realistically, how they've been playing, they're one of the hottest teams in the NFL. You mentioned it. If they win 3 out of 4, that still would mean they're 8-2 down the stretch. But I really do believe they can win all 4. The big test for me, and you could talk about trap games, you could talk about Carolina, which again, Carolina has been oddly good. They have a good defense, and Sam Darnold coming back after Baker was cut, he's been all right. And Carolina's looked better. But still, I think the biggest test for this team, Adam, is next week. It's the Jets. If you could beat the Jets, to me, the next 3 games, you go on the road and beat the New York Jets. They're well coached. They have a really good defense. You follow that up with Carolina, I have even more confidence they can beat Carolina. And then Chicago and Green Bay, they've beaten already. And by that time, you don't know if Aaron will play the last game of the season. Maybe. I mean, to try and keep the Lions out of the playoffs, he could play. But the Chicago and Green Bay doesn't scare me. I think New York is the biggest test. So to answer your question, the game this week is the most important game out of the next 4. And
well, you have 3 of these next 4 games that are road games, and that's also key. Jared Goff is a completely different quarterback on the road. Your defense is a completely different defense on the road.
Right.
You're 4-4 at home right now. You will likely finish 5-4 on the season. I do think you beat the Bears at home on, what is it, New Year's Eve or New Year's Day?
Yeah.
Could be wrong.
New Year's Day.
No, you're right.
New Year's Day?
New Year's Day.
Thank you.
The only
guys.
thing that changes is Christmas Eve. Most games are on Christmas Eve, and then there's the 3 on Christmas.
Cool.
And then
Thank
my
you, buddy.
favorite holiday, Boxing Day.
I know. But we're not going to talk about that.
No,
stupid
there's
sport.
NFL on Boxing Day. There's one game.
Yeah,
Monday Night
Don't
Football.
call Boxing Day. Anyways.
It's still Boxing Day.
Shut the hell up. Point is, you have 3 of these next 4 that are road games. You're going to learn a lot about your quarterback. You're going to learn a lot about your head coach, your team in general, and where the progress really is. Because to win at home, it fits the Lions. And I'm not saying that in a bad way, but the offense doesn't have any environmental impacts, right? Tua Tagovailoa and the Miami Dolphins, what do they have to deal with this weekend? 27 degrees, 14 to 20 mile an hour winds.
Cold, bad weather.
Snow.
Cold as hell and snowing in Buffalo. You don't have to worry about that if you're Detroit at your home games, right? So the offense is going to be clicking. Well, how about in New York when it's going to be freezing this weekend? What about in Carolina? What about in Lambeau in January?
You never know in January in Lambeau.
So, well, you know it's going to be cold as hell at least.
But could be snowing.
You're going to have to revert back to your run game, which in theory shouldn't be a problem for the Lions because they have one of the better offensive lines. So you're going to learn a lot about this team, how legit they are. Maybe that's a legitimate question, but to me, Jeff, I'm going to learn more in the next 4 games than I did over the last 6. And that doesn't diminish the last 6, and it doesn't make me forget the first 7.
Right.
But what it gives me, Jeff, more, and you know I'm a big fan of this word, gives me clarity. You go 2-2 in the next 4, I'm impressed.
Mm-hmm.
You go 3-1, I am feeling very, very optimistic going into next season that you win the division. Hell, forget the records. I think you win the division next year. I'll say it from now. There's no reason you can't. With the capital you have in the draft, with the money you'll have in free agency, please. You avoid a bad start, just avoid the bad starts. You started 0-7 year 1, year 2, 1-6. For God's sake, start 4-2 or 4-3 or something next year, please. Anyways, you're going to learn a lot about this team, and I think you've learned a lot already with their, quote, grit, determination, their their ability to just not give up, it's nice. 3 road games, Jeff. You're going to learn a lot. Mm-hmm. But learn a lot about this team.
I think the positive, though, the Lions have offensively, Adam, is their offense can travel with what they can do. And no matter the environment, you have that offensive line who can pass protect. They do great things in the run game. And you have a 3-headed monster in the backfield. They have receivers who are willing blockers. You saw Jameson's block against the Minnesota Vikings. Amon-Ra. Jared Goff is the big one for me. I mean, he's played really well at home. I'm curious to see how he is on the road. He's had some good road games this year. Don't get me wrong. But overall, it's going to be a big test. But the good thing they have is this offense will travel. Can this defense keep up with how they've been playing? That's my biggest question. No matter who you play, whether it's the Jets with or without Mike White, Carolina with Sam Darnold, doesn't matter. This defense, it's got to keep up this type of play, creating turnovers, doing well against the run, because you're going to face some teams, specifically Carolina, who loves to run the football. And you're going to face Chicago, who loves to run the football if Justin Fields is there. And you're facing Green Bay, who can run the football. So the defense has to keep up with how well they've been playing. But overall, I got confidence in this offense, Adam. Even on the road, I know it's different. Obviously, teams play much better at home, especially when your home field's a dome. But this offense, they can beat you in so many different ways. I think it should give Lions fans even more confidence traveling. I mean, really.
As it should. As it should, man. Look, let's take a quick pause. When we get back, what can we learn from the early start of the year with this team? And what does it say about your quarterback? Your quarterback who started off really hot and then just couldn't stop throwing interceptions. And notably, not only interceptions, pick sixes. And would fumble the ball. And it was a shutout against New England. And it was 6 points against Dallas. What can you learn about your football team from such a bad start? We'll get to that in just a bit, but before we go, Jeff, our good friends over at Swiss Insurance.
Well, the holiday season is here, and that means Swiss Insurance wants to remind you to insure those gifts of jewelry or collectibles, because in the last 2 weeks, Swiss Insurance has saved its clients on an average of 26% on their insurance premiums while still increasing coverage. That's a ton of money to free up for the giving season. Merry Christmas from Swiss Insurance.
It's back. Year 3 of Woodward Sports Stuff a Studio is here. The past 2 years, we've collected new unwrapped toys and stuffed our studio so we could hardly fit in it. This year, we're doing it even bigger. Join Woodward Sports and our whole family December 19th to the 23rd as we stuff our studio. While you're out shopping or just sitting on your couch ordering presents, make sure you grab one extra and drop it off at our studio, 15 Mile in Woodward in Birmingham. We'll be collecting toys around the clock to make sure every child in Mott's Children's Hospital feels the warmth of the holiday season. It's the time of year to do for others. Help us stuff our studio. Special thanks to all the wonderful elves at Meyer and Guardian Alarm for keeping the toys safe. Stuff a Studio 2022 with Woodward Sports.
By now you know me, Christina Gennari, as the obvious choice in real estate. And you know my website, soldchristina.com, as your #1 resource for buying or selling your home. Myself, along with my amazing staff, pride ourselves on making your home buying and selling experience a relaxing and easy one. Come see why we are the obvious choice. Christina Gennari at soldchristina.com, the obvious choice in real estate.
Can't get enough Woodward Sports content? Head over to woodwardsports.com right now for up-to-date sports articles and great entertainment news. We have the best writers, bloggers, and coverage all at your fingertips. Head to woodwardsports.com right now to experience all Woodward Sports has to offer.
All right, downtown Detroit is all decked out this holiday season with the return of the Cadillac Lodge in the Monroe Street Midway. Midway has a giant slide, winter bumper cars, and an indoor arcade. Plus, you can grab drinks and eat before and after you play games at the Lodge. Shop, eat, and play downtown all winter long. Thanks to our good friends over at Bedrock Detroit.
I don't know why I just got scarred for life there.
Can we get the camera on this asshole? I hope you guys know that's what we deal with.
I just look up and I see myself on the screen. A little scarred out there, but we'll get through it.
Fish, I need this energy every morning. I appreciate it.
I try to be happy and excited. I mean, you got World Cup today. How do you not? France, Morocco. Morocco might upset them. That'll be an incredible.
They will not. No. Don't say that.
What do you mean don't say
Morocco
that?
might, quote, might not upset. No. We're not saying that word.
They will?
Definitive.
Okay, Morocco will win.
Absolutely they will, because we put money on it.
Sorry, French fans. You're
Argentina
going to.
bet hit yesterday.
You're going down.
We're going to take the winnings and throw it on Morocco.
Hey, you made money yesterday. You made money yesterday.
Mm-hmm. I gave you guys a lot of good stuff yesterday.
Are you going high
that
on the...
over 4.5? I told you was ridiculous, but everything else hit.
Yeah, that was
Messi goal,
that
Messi
was
assist,
stupid.
Argentina to get through. Everything hit.
You even said it'd be 2 or 3-0, so you could have gone 2.5 and you would have won.
Yep, it's all good. I went total bets. I went 4-1 yesterday, and the only one that lost was that stupid $50 parlay. No, 4-2. The stupid $50 parlay with the over 4.5 goals, and then Messi hat trick. Those were the two that missed, and then the ones that hit were Messi goal and assist, Argentina to get through, and Argentina to get through plus Messi to score.
Yeah, wow.
I had 4
Did you put that on a parlay?
Yeah, those were 4 different variations of the bet.
Nice.
Yep. So it was a good day.
Good.
It was a good day.
I'm happy for you. I like seeing you win.
Thank you. I like soccer.
Then for some reason it comes back on me, and I don't know why. I told you not to do things.
Yep.
And then you do them, and you blame me.
Well, I gotta blame somebody, Fish, because I can't tell my wife. So.
Fish,
well, I guess you could.
Fish, you're just a great financial advisor. That's your job.
I mean, I told him no on the 4.5.
Can we do a poll in the chat?
4.5.
I want to know your honest opinion. People, this is my money.
Oh, God.
All right. So I would appreciate it if you respect it a little bit before I answer this, or excuse me, I ask this. What should Adam bet?
Oh God.
On this Sunday.
Oh.
One game, and I'm going to give it to you.
Okay.
Okay. I want to bet this game very, very much.
World
I want
Cup
to bet
final?
the spread. Wait 1 second.
Okay.
I want to bet the spread, and I want to put a decent chunk of change on.
Can you wait till tomorrow when we actually know who's playing?
No. Who wins on Sunday? Lions, Jets.
Oh.
Throw it in the poll. I don't care about your fandom. I'm asking on behalf of myself and the money that I've put into my betting account. Please, I want your opinions. Should I take the Lions with the points or the Jets with the points?
Are you betting on the final on Sunday?
The World Cup final?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I'm going to have something crazy for it.
Oh, sorry. Do you have an
I'm
idea
not betting
yet?
Saturday games, Steven. I can't. I have fantasy football bias, and whenever there's like fantasy football implications, I can't because I'm biased. I can't bet that way.
There's also bowl games on Saturday as well.
Yeah, who cares?
What's the spread right now? I didn't look.
-1, +1 either way. It's a pick 'em.
Oh, okay.
So I can get the Jets or the Lions plus or -1, depending on the book.
Pretty good.
That's a tough one.
Wow.
I mean, with how the Lions have been playing, I'm riding with the Lions, but it's your money, buddy.
Remember, it's in New York. Not that that matters too much, but it is in New York.
To me, it matters.
It definitely matters.
So look, I'm going to take this poll seriously if it's like a 60-40. If it's 95% Lions, I'm definitely not going to listen to you guys. But
wow.
Well,
I want you to be
not,
honest.
You better not look at the poll then.
If all of your bank account was on the line, who would you bet on to win this game? 7% of you have said the Jets. God damn it.
Especially, you should know that because how the Lions have been playing.
I know the Lions.
Like they're
going to
be high on the Lions.
I've been making money off the Lions recently. Actually,
I love how you're like, if it's 95%, I'm going to stay away from it. It's like 90. It's 95 right now. 93.
Team that will
actually.
not yield. Blue and silver wave.
Shut the hell up, Fish.
Why?
It's a tough game. That's why I want to bet it though, because I get it's free money either way.
WoodwardSports.com. Austin Harris says Lions are 1-0 at MetLife so far this season.
That is true. That is true. Depends on. Okay, so just so you guys know, the line is pick'em, which means it's even either way.
Yep.
You're gonna make the same money betting on the Jets or the Lions, so it's a toss-up. Who are you taking to win this game?
You're not. Are you betting it today, or are you waiting till Friday?
I'm gonna.
Or Saturday.
I'm gonna wait. I'm trying to.
Okay.
I'm waiting for half a point to swing either way.
Well, it's going to by the weekend.
Well, that's what I'm waiting for.
Well, then what?
What?
You should wait till Friday to put it in the poll instead of now.
No, I want to know now. I want to know what the people think.
Of course they're going to say Lions.
Listen,
we're in Detroit, and the Lions are actually good. If they were bad, then people probably
Fish, have I ever told you to suck a dick?
Several times,
All
and
right,
I have
well,
not
suck
done
one.
that.
Shut up.
Abe makes an appearance, the Jets fan in the chat. WoodwardSports.com. Abe says, great defense beats a great offense.
So, Abe, here you go. Here's what we're going to do with you. All right?
Here we go.
I don't know DJ Reed's status for the game. I know Quinnen Williams is questionable. But yes, defenses, especially defenses like the Jets, do give offenses a problem. That's why we had the conversation earlier. You're going to learn a lot about this team.
Right.
This team being the Lions on the road. Jared Goff, not the same quarterback he is at home. Most quarterbacks aren't, but there's a significantly higher turnover ratio for Goff on the road. So what are you going to get? What's the completion percentage? Is he going to throw multiple interceptions against a very good Jets defense? How are you going to game plan for a Jets defense that, let's just be honest, stifled Buffalo last week?
Right.
This is a very good defense. And for me, if I had to choose between the top offense in the NFL at the moment and one of the top defenses, that's a tough one. But I'm going to lean the defense at home right now.
Yeah.
I'm going to give the edge to the defense. You have to be fair here. That is a defense that can keep them in the game even if they struggle all day on offense, just like they did against Buffalo. So we'll have to wait and see. I think it's going to be a close game, and that's why I asked you guys in the chat. I know most of you are irresponsible. 90% of you are irresponsible, but this is a one-point game. This has 24-23, 20-18, 20-17 written all over it. This is not going to be the 35-28 that we've been accustomed to. This is going to be run the ball, control the clock, limit turnovers, play field position, and take your opportunities. That's going to be this game. This is not going to be a shootout. It's going to be an ugly game.
Mm-hmm. And you don't have...
that favors for both teams, really, because you know the Lions can play that way, but that is at core what the Jets are. And they're at home.
Right.
And the elements do favor them a little bit. It's going to be an interesting game.
Yeah, and on top of that, you've seen Mike White. I mean, if he's playing, man, you see him tear up some secondaries. And we just gave up over 200 yards to Justin Jefferson. I know Jeff Okudah was in and out of the lineup, but still, you have that offense, which isn't the most explosive, but they got weapons. I mean, they do. I mean, Garrett Wilson, Corey Davis, they got guys, even without Breece Hall. But my biggest question, Adam, and the thing I'm going to be watching the most, besides the Rookie of the Year, Defensive Rookie of the Year battle between Sauce and Aiden, I'm going to be watching the penalties, because you saw the Lions get off to that rough start at home. If you do that on the road, it's going to come back to bite you. I mean, you're going to go into MetLife. It's going to be loud. It's going to be hard to communicate, especially how the Lions have been at home. Goff can't just say, quiet down. And we've seen the penalties defensively. I know Jeff had a handful of those, but still, they got to play clean football. That's how they won on the road against the Giants. That's how they won on the road against the Bears. They were the more disciplined team. So they got to continue that.
How much this has an impact on the game maybe is irrelevant. But there is a bit of a dark side to this game that we're not talking really enough about because nobody really knows this. And I'm not going to say who or what or how I know this. I can't do that.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not even going to go into detail. Let's just say the Robert Saleh interview with the Lions and what transpired after didn't end well. Was not the interview or direction or vision that a certain individual would have liked. So this is an important game for Robert Saleh. He is from Dearborn, Michigan. He grew up supporting the Lions. He interviewed for the job. He campaigned for the job, wanted to be here. And for whatever reasons, he wasn't. And I'm not going to go into that because I don't think it's fair for me to bring up, especially if I'm not willing to say how I know or what I know. So there's a lot on the line for him too, and this for him is a revenge game. Whether we want to admit it or not, whether it's a story or not for you guys, I know for a fact it's a story. This is a big game for him.
Yeah.
Because there's nothing he would love more than to beat the team that he thought he had the job for. The team that he thought he was the perfect fit for. But regardless, this isn't about would you rather have Saleh or Campbell. This is not the conversation this week.
No.
This is about, in my opinion, what I'm seeing and what I'm hearing is this is a revenge game for the Jets. And it has nothing to do with any of the players. Just the head coach. Head coach has a, let's say, you put him a bullseye on the calendar. That's what he's circled this day for a long time. So I'm interested to see how it plays out. The Jets are going to be a very formidable team. Their defense is the best defense, in my opinion, you've played all season. Good luck.
Mm-hmm.
This is going to be a great game. Ugly, but great game.
Yeah, no, I would agree with you. I don't see this as a big blowout. I don't see this as a high-scoring game. I agree with you completely, and we've already talked about this a couple days ago with what we think the score will be. It's going to be a lower-scoring game. I just believe that, unless the Lions' defense gets completely torched. But I don't see that. I can see a game and a score like you predicted as well, 2017, 24-17, something along those lines, 24-20. That's what it's going to come down to. I mean, it's going to come down to really which team makes more mistakes, which is cliche, but it's the reality. You know, timely penalties, turnovers, time of possession. Those things are going to matter, especially on the road. So, again, it's a huge test. This is probably the best defense they've played over the last couple weeks. I mean, they played Buffalo. That was at home. And they lost Von Miller in that game, but still, I think this is a real test. I mean, we talk about Sauce Gardner. We got a lot of praise for him. I mean, he's one of the best corners right now in the NFL. They still have other good guys in the secondary. They have a good pass rush, good linebackers. It's a good defense. So, great test for this offense. And Ben Johnson. And you mentioned the coaching ties. I mean, even Mike LaFleur, Mount Pleasant native. You have Robert Saleh, Dearborn native. There's ties there. So, it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, look, to all of you in the chat that are talking out of your ass.
Who?
So, they know who they are. So, let's just get two things very, very clear. Obviously, I'm from Dearborn, Michigan. Obviously, I'm Arab. And I do have ties to the family, just in general. I have ties to the community there. So, yes, I do know, actually, for a fact. And I'm not going to expose whether it's a family member of himself, or anybody on what I know and what came out of that interview. If you want to learn more, tune in tonight to SD4L.
He'll be on.
Because Robert Saleh will be on tonight with the guys during the Michigan State show. So you can go in there and learn a little bit more. I'm not going to do it. It's not my place. But we'll leave it at that. And again, that doesn't mean it has to be a negative thing. This isn't a negative connotation even on the Lions or on ownership. But there is a factor in this. There is. So when I tell you this is a type of revenge game, I mean it. From their perspective, this is a revenge game for their coach. They're going to want to go out and win for their coach because he feels some sort of way. Whether it's true or not, whether it's right, whether it's accurate, whether you agree with it or not is irrelevant. To that locker room, they have a siege mentality at the moment, which is, we want to go win for our coach. Let's take a break. Top of the hour coming up. When we get back, a slow start, now a strong finish. What's real, what's fake? We'll have that conversation coming up in a bit, but before we go, I got to tell you guys about Planet Fitness, home of the judgment-free environment. Get started today. $10 a month. Your fitness is essential. Sign up today by visiting them in club or by signing up at planetfitness.com.
Love Woodward Sports? Love wearing clothes? Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports clothes. Check out our full line of merch at woodwardsports.com. Just click on Shop. We have all your favorite designs, like Dan Campbell kneecaps, Beverly Hills Golf, Woodward Golf, and of course, our own logoed out merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog. Buy Woodward Sports merch today.
At work and at home, we're there with smarter security solutions. Featuring complete automation with customized alerts and more. For over 90 years, we've been the company that's been counted on to protect what matters most, all with personalized service and care. Right now, for a limited time, receive a free video device plus free installation with a new home system. Guardian Alarm. We protect Michigan.
Jeff Okuda and Wicked Awesome Wishes present Hope for the Holidays. Jeff Okuda gives his financial support, time, and love for the city of Detroit with Chad Johnson and his amazing foundation, Wicked Awesome Wishes. Together, Jeff and Chad have been game planning all year long to make this Christmas one to remember for underprivileged children and their families. Special thanks to Lions players Amon-Ra St. Brown, Tracy Walker, Will Harris, and more, along with Lions alumni Lomas Brown and Joyak Bell, and the awesome people at Lighthouse Coolidge Community Building in Oak Park. Together, we'll make sure every child has new shoes, warm coats, hats, and socks, plus free haircuts to help everyone feel their best. And don't forget Woodward Sports, Braylon Edwards, Ryan Ermanni, and Darren McCarty will be there too. Hope for the holidays from Jeff Okuda and Wicked Awesome Wishes. Woodward Avenue, the first paved road in America. Woodward Sports, the first sports network born in Detroit and made for Detroit.
Jeff Iafrate here. Let me tell you about our friends at Alta, because at Alta, uptime matters. Alta Equipment has everything you need to get the job done. If you have a big project coming up, Alta Rent has you covered. Call them today, 844-GO-TO-ALTA. That's 844-GO-TO-ALTA today.
All right, here we go. Back on the Morning Woodward Show, live, top of the hour, and you know what minute it is? It's the Monroe Street minute. The Midway minute. I took my nephew last Friday.
How was it? Was it good?
It was actually, honestly,
that poor kid.
It was pretty fun.
It was.
Yeah. So I don't have a kid, obviously. So I'm sitting here trying to act like a dad, and I'm not even a dad yet. And this little shit keeps crying. And I finally
That's what kids
got
do,
him
Adam.
to calm down. I
Get
gave
ready.
him. What is it?
That's what kids do.
Yes, they do cry. It's annoying.
Yeah.
Especially in public. But what are you gonna do?
Yeah.
Can't hit the kid. Oh God! But no, we had fun, man. There was an arcade. Food was good down there. My wife went with me, so that was cool. It was a nice hangout.
Yeah,
it's a nice hangout.
That's
Can't
awesome.
lie.
I would love to see you hanging out with your nephew.
Me operating like a normal human. Yeah. Good luck. You'll never see it.
Oh, that would be hilarious.
Oh God!
At least you went out and about. Let's clap it up for you actually going somewhere. Yeah.
I know. I got out of the office for once. I know.
Yeah, that's a good achievement.
I know, buddy. All right, Jeff. Here's what we got: 1-6, 5-1, and then you have 4 games left. Slow start, hot finish. Let's look at the whole 13-game sample size. What's real and what isn't? Also, what's really bad and needs to be addressed, and what isn't as bad, and I don't want to say you don't have to address, but it isn't as big of a concern as you may think it is.
Mm-hmm.
And if you want, I'll start with what problem I think it really isn't a problem at all, and that's Jared Goff. And we always talk about the next guy, the franchise quarterback. This is what a bridge quarterback is. He allows you to build your football team and not have to worry about drafting or paying a quarterback, because he is effectively on a really, really fair salary at the moment, $30 million a year, and he's playing some really damn good football. So that would be one, quote, problem that I don't really see as a problem anymore, especially with his turnaround and the lack of turnovers.
Yeah. No, I'm glad you brought up Goff. I was going to bring up the offense. More importantly, that offensive line. That's real. I mean, they were a strong suit last year. So this offense has shown us all year they can score on anybody, except for the Patriots, of course, because he scored 0. But other than that, this offense has been the more consistent part of this football team. So the offense, to me, is absolutely real. They're going to keep up what they've been doing. Ben Johnson is real, if you want to go more specific, because he's been a blessing in disguise. I mean, last year they found him. Now this year, making it as a first-time offensive coordinator, the success he's found, putting this offense, in great positions. Jared Goff specifically, Amon-Ra St. Brown, what he's done for his career. Yeah, I would say Ben Johnson and his offense. That's definitely the first thing you'd mention when you say what's real. No question.
For me, what's real, and I am really struggling with this, but who Dan Campbell has been for 6 weeks, I do think is real. That doesn't happen by accident. If they were winning games, Jeff, that you're like, oh, got away with that one, or, oh man, we played like shit, but I don't know how we won that game, I would be questioning it. But these last 6 games, I do think it's real. Just like I think 1-6, that was real. That wasn't unlucky or we made a mistake. No, those were like really bad coaching decisions.
Yeah.
And really poor game planning and really poor execution. And it's been quite the opposite the last 6 weeks. But I think this version of the Lions under Dan Campbell is real. The proof is in the pudding. The proof is they're out in the field, Jeff. You don't need me to tell you this, guys. You watch your football team. You tell me a 6-week stretch. Go back to the 90s if you want, where you played minute 1, minute 60 football. I haven't seen it in my lifetime. Even with the Caldwell Lions, even with the, what the hell's his name? Schwartz Lions.
Yep.
It didn't matter who it was. Minute 1 to 60. Clean, effective, nonstop, foot on the pedal football. I think that's real. I do. And as irritated as I am and was with 1-6 to start, and as real as that was, So is this. I don't think it's a facade or something fake. I do think this is not only repeatable, I think it's sustainable. Now, you want to add more talent? Sure. You want to address the secondary? Sure. You want to add a linebacker? Sure. I get it. You do need pieces on this team, but the coaching element, I think these last 6 games, Jeff, it's real.
Yeah.
I don't think he's by accident or he's stumbling into success right now. And you know me, I've been very critical of Dan. But I'm sorry. The football I've watched the last 6 weeks, yes, is what I expected before the season, but that's irrelevant right now. What's relevant is they have sustainable success with the way they're playing. I think it's real. I do.
I do too, and they've shown you the blueprint on how they're going to win and how they're going to contend for the division next year. It starts defensively, and that's something I want to bring up too. I really do believe what they're doing defensively over the last 6 games is real. Because we trust me, gave a fair amount of criticism early to this defense and to Aaron Glenn. But understanding now, looking back, how much these players have grown. Yes, they're getting healthier. Yes, Aaron Glenn had these guys understanding the scheme. The communication seems to be where you want it to be. I know the secondary is still struggling, but overall, the pass rush, you see the emergence of James Houston, Josh Pascal, John Kaminsky, guys that were cut from their previous teams. Bugs. These guys are now making impactful plays for the Lions. And imagine when you do add a possible Jalen Carter, or you add a Will Anderson, or you continue to add, better secondary players, a better linebacker, whatever it may be. This defense is only going to improve. So the defense, to me, over the last 6 weeks is real. They've shown you a blueprint to how this defense can be even better and be a really, really good defense the more talent they add. So I do believe what Aaron Glenn's doing, what the adjustments he's made. I know Dan Campbell made a tough decision. You let go of Aubrey Pleasant. I do believe what they're doing defensively, although there's going to be slip-ups like you had against Justin Jefferson, you could still win games like that. So to me, this defense is real. They got to add more talent, which they have plenty of assets to do this offseason to go out and get talent. So to me, this defense deserves a lot of credit, Adam. I do believe what they're doing lately, getting turnovers, the young players making plays, Brad Holmes' draft picks, he's going to continue to find good players, great players. I do believe this defense and what they've been doing is real. And Aaron Glenn deserves a ton of credit for that.
He does, absolutely. And I think the growth, the maturity, the ability to just recognize, hey, I fucked up.
Yeah.
I fucked up, and I have to stop. Because if I keep making the same mistakes over and over, I'm not going to be in a job. And most coaches are too stubborn to ever realize that. And that's why you see so many of them get fired. Urban Meyer, Nathaniel Hackett right now, you see he's going to get fired.
As he should.
You can't be stubborn as a head coach in the NFL. You have to be willing to adapt, and you have to be willing to step back sometimes. Sometimes it doesn't just have to be all about you. And I know head coach, it's an ego-driven position, 1 of 32, you're the lead guy, you get all the credit, you get all the blame. I get it. But I think what Dan's done, I think that's real. I think the turnaround is real. I don't think it's fake. Because before the season, what did we talk about? This offense being exceptional, being a top 10 offense in the NFL. Your defense, if it could be top 24, top 25, you would find success this year, 7, 8, 9 potentially wins.
Right.
That was the expectation going into the year. And my goodness, how nice and how all the flowers that were being given out in the offseason, I was at the forefront of it with you. But you don't show your ass at 1 and 6. But I will say, same old Lions don't recover this way. They don't.
Mm-hmm.
A same old coach, a Caldwell, a Schwartz, a Patricia, they don't recover. And it's not the fact that they're just winning the games now. It's how they're winning them. Context matters. And I know I said, 2-3 times on the show now. Minute 1, minute 60, Jeff, they're giving you hell. They're not stumbling into a win. They're not, we played really bad for 3.5 quarters, but the team across the field just played worse. And we got lucky and won the game. Or, we got off to a great start, didn't play for 3.5 quarters after that, and then barely got out with a 1 3-point win. Or they missed a field goal to win it, and we ended up winning. Well, whatever it may be. You're not winning games like that. You're winning games because you are the better team from start to finish. And that's why I think it's real. That's why I think it's sustainable. It's why I have no choice. I don't have a choice but to say this, because it's the truth. I'd be a liar. You guys watch the same football I watch. It's your team. You know very well this is not the norm. What's being done isn't normal. Because you don't associate Lions football with discipline. You don't associate Lions football with consistency, start to finish. Lions football for the last 15 years has been fourth quarter comebacks, blowing fourth quarter leads. That's it. That's been the Lions for 15, 20 years.
That's same old Lions.
15, 20 years now it's been win fourth quarter games, last second, and blow fourth quarter leads. Blow double-digit leads. Just like you did against Miami. They spotted you 14, lost that game. You were up 10 against Minnesota early on in the year in the fourth quarter, lost that game. You had some moments where it really looked like same old shit.
Yeah.
And now these last 6 games, sorry, they've really turned it around.
Yeah, they've shown growth, and that's all you wanted to see. Now, the 1-6 start isn't ideal, but the fact that they've recovered from that, you've seen improvements from all 3 phases, offense, defense, special teams. That's been the biggest thing. And I want to bring up something that, because you talk about what's real and what's fake. And this isn't, I hate the word fake, but I want to bring up a player that I do believe isn't playing up to his potential. And I guess if you want to label that as fake, I do believe DeAndre Swift deserves to be mentioned here, because Swift has gone from the beginning of the season, Sam Flannel in the booth, calling him out, saying he'll lead the NFC in rushing, which, you know, say what you want about that take. But DeAndre Swift, a lot of people were high on him to come into the season. He had a monster game to start the season, and as it trended, got hurt. And he's never really looked the same. I know he had a good game last week, not this previous week, but the week before that. And he's a threat as a wide receiver. But DeAndre Swift's future to me is still in question. I know he has next year, but you're going to have to find a run game somehow, some way. I mean, whether that's through the draft, free agency. I love Jamal Williams, but he's not your lead back. So to me, as much as I love what this offensive line's doing, they've been producing no matter who's running in the backfield. I think DeAndre Swift, as everyone expected him to be your 1A back, and him kind of trending in the wrong direction, now you have a 3-headed monster, which is efficient, which can work. I just think with DeAndre, you've seen a lot more fake than real out of DeAndre. And it's disappointing because you know how talented he really is and how much he means to this offense. Because if he plays like he did early in the season, this offense becomes that much more dangerous. So it's 100%. Unfortunate.
All right, well, look, let's take a quick pause. When we get back, let's switch it up. Pistons for a little bit. Tank for Victor?
Uh-oh.
I don't think I'm going to agree with you here. I'm going to give you my reasons. You tell me why. What should I buy into with this team right now?
Ooh.
We'll have that conversation coming up in just a bit. But before we go, I got to tell you about where you should head to grab lunch today, and that's at cousinsmainlobster.com. Go to their website and find out where their food truck is so you can enjoy yourself a very, very delicious lunch. Who doesn't love lobster? Whether it's the lobster roll, whether it's the lobster tacos, scan that QR code or visit cousinsmainlobster.com. See where they're at and order your lunch today. Absolutely delicious. The clam chowder soup was fucking phenomenal. My goodness. Especially now that it's cold.
Ooh-wee.
Oh, wee. Oh, wee. You know what, Fish? Scan that QR code. I'll order everybody here lunch today. Let's do that. We're going to order Cousins Main Lobster today.
All right, can I scan
it
from this far out? Oh, okay, thank you.
It's back. Year 3 of Woodward Sports Stuffa Studio is here. The past 2 years, we've collected new unwrapped toys and stuffed our studio so we could hardly fit in it. This year, we're doing it even bigger. Join Woodward Sports and our whole family December 19th to the 23rd as we stuff our studio. While you're out shopping or just sitting on your couch ordering presents, make sure you grab one extra and drop it off at our studio, 15 Mile in Woodward and Birmingham. We'll be collecting toys around the clock to make sure every child in Mott's Children's Hospital feels the warmth of the holiday season. It's the time of year to do for others. Help us stuff our studio. Special thanks to all the wonderful elves at Meyer and Guardian Alarm for keeping the toys safe. Stuff a Studio 2022 with Woodward Sports.
As chilly weather approaches, Big Boy's got the perfect comfort meals for you. Try our hearty classic meatloaf or our creamy Cajun chicken Alfredo. These will be sure to leave you craving for more. How about breakfast? Our stuffed potato pancakes are back with our lumberjack, blockbuster, and Santa Fe Garden. These potato pancakes will definitely fill you up. Whether it's for breakfast, lunch, or dinner, come stock up on the perfect comfort meal today. We'll see you soon at Big Boy.
My name is Lee. I've lost 35 pounds on the Custom Health Center program. So the 3 biggest benefits that I've gotten from this program has been I'm not snoring anymore, I have a lot of energy, it's great, and oh, by the way, look at this. No, I'm just kidding. No, I'm just kidding.
Call us at 844-789-THIN or visit CustomHealthCenters.com for a free consultation and get started for as little as $5 a day.
All I want for Christmas is a Lions win, the Pistons in the playoffs, and the Red Wings to dominate. I don't ask for much.
I'm asking for a punt! A single punt!
And I've been really good this year.
Oh, you're so naughty. You're so naughty.
Woodward Sports.
The official meat supplier of the Woodward Sports Network, you know it, The Butchery. Inspired by the legendary Chef Dave, catering orders, bulk special orders are his specialty. Artisan breads, Wagyu meats, sandwiches to die for, you know it. Go to thebutcherysl.com and order online today or give them a call. 248-682-COWS. That's 248-682-COWS. We are back here on the Morning Woodward Show, live, woodwardsports.com. 9:16 on a beautiful Wednesday morning. I have a problem, Jeff, and I hope you can help solve my problem. I don't know what to think of the Pistons right now because I'm trying really hard to be patient, right? Because they're young. And in the NBA, when you're young, you have no choice but to lose. Whether you're the Sixers, Warriors, doesn't matter who you are. These players need time to develop, grow their game, develop into their bodies. NBA is a bit of a different beast, right? Mm-hmm. But this tank for Victor, I know he is Kevin Durant and a taller version and he's got it all. It's all great. Believe me. But how many more young prospects does this team need?
I know.
If Ivy's a star player, if Cade's a star player, believe me, I would love for you to draft 3 superstars. Don't get me wrong. But is tanking it? Is tanking the solution right now? Because to me, you could sell me on tanking if Dwayne Casey wasn't the coach and they were playing better basketball, even if they would lose. But the basketball they're playing right now is not something I can look in the future and say, hey, that's repeatable. I did that with the Lions when they were shit. Remember Arizona? We literally sat up here, and I told you, Jeff, I'm off his ass. I'm done. I'm not criticizing him. Not doing it anymore. Why? Arizona was the blueprint for how you could build and have sustainable success with the Lions team moving forward.
Right.
And now you're seeing it. Where is that with Dwayne Casey? Am I just a fucking idiot and I don't know what I'm looking at when I watch basketball games?
Yes.
Or does this team have no idea what the hell they're doing offensively?
Might be a little both. No, I'm just joking. I think with the Pistons currently right now, the question is it the right move to tank? I mean, it doesn't matter. They're going to tank. I mean, they're a bad team, especially lose your franchise point guard. But nonetheless, Ivy struggled, and you could see how Cade's injury and not being there, his absence, has affected the rest of the roster. And if you want to bring up Dwayne, that's fine. I think he deserves criticism. But at the same time, it's like I'm more concerned about where this team is heading in the future. And I think that's going to be without Dwayne. So I'm not as concerned about Dwayne. I trust Troy enough to make that move when it's necessary. But to answer the question, Victor Wembanyama, I mean, he's incredible. He really is. In a draft where you lose your franchise player, ideally, this is the draft. I mean, this is one of the more better drafts over the last couple of years. And I know people say that, and that's kind of the narrative every year, but I really do. I like a lot of the talent coming out of this draft currently. And the Pistons right now have the worst record. They face Charlotte tonight, who has the second best odds for the number 1 pick. I mean, right now, to have a top 4 pick, they have a 52% chance. So they're going to be in that top 4. I think the Pistons, there's not much they're going to be able to do unless Ivy takes steps. I mean, he's been struggling, but if he can go back to playing like he did early in the season, maybe you string off a couple victories at him. But overall, I don't see it improving. I mean, and that's, again, if you want to blame Dwayne, that's fine. But I just think not having Cade has affected them greatly. I mean, he was playing at an all-star level to start the season. You don't have him. Now teams are focusing defensively on your rookie, and he hasn't been handling it the best. So you're relying on guys like Killian Hayes, Bojan, who's, again, Bojan's great, but is he your best player on a team that's going to win 30 games? No. I mean, I don't think so. So it's not looking good. It's frustrating, but you're right. I mean, when do you stop? There's going to have to be a point, and this is why Pistons fans understand this too. I mean, as much as we love Saddiq Bey and you love the talent that you've been able to grow, there's going to be an opportunity. Now, I don't know when, where there's a player that's frustrated that you're going to be able to trade for. You're going to have to give up assets. You might have to give up draft capital. But this team's going to have to make that move to go get that big fish, to go get that all-star player to play alongside Ivy and Cade and possibly, depending on who you draft this year. So I get where you're coming from. Yes, you can't keep drafting in the top 4, top 5. I mean, you get Cade, you get Ivy, and now you're going to have another, top 5, top 4 pick. It's not ideal, but I'm telling you right now, with all the young players they've collected, and as these guys are taking steps, Killian Hayes, Saddiq Bey, there's going to be an opportunity. The veterans you have, Bojan or Alec Burks, there's going to be an opportunity for them to trade for a star, and never sleep on what Troy can do through trades. I mean, he's fleeced multiple general managers. So as much as I agree with you, I do think Troy understands that. He came out last year and said he can't have a team full of 20-year-olds. I mean, you got to have some veterans, which they added, but I'm talking about real veterans, like a 27, 28-year-old in his prime, an all-star, somebody that's going to be available. I do think that's on the rise. You have money this offseason. I don't know if it'll be in free agency, but there's always a star somewhere that gets frustrated, that wants out. So the Pistons just going to have to be ready to capitalize on that and have all the capital they can have. So I get where you're coming from, Adam, but I have faith they're going to eventually make that move. Troy understands that. He gets it. I just don't know who it is. You don't know who's going to ask out, who's going to be available via trade. It's up to the Pistons and Troy Weaver to get that deal done.
I'm not asking you to answer that. I know that's unpredictable, and who knows what can happen. But
right,
are you at least with me on if they were playing with a foundation, with an identity, you could at least eat all these losses a little bit better?
Right.
I could buy in, but how much of Killian Hayes is legit? And I'm not saying to discredit him, by the way. He's playing very well. But in this team, in this offense, even if you bring in a new coach, there's one basketball. You need shooters on this team. And you need Cade to develop. You need Ivy to develop. Saddiq, what do you do with him? Bogdanovich, what do you do with him? Jalen Duren's your 5 of the future. So you still have a lot of questions, and you're really relying on these young players to develop into star players. That was always the game plan, Cade and Ivy. So you're going to add another one to this list, and that'll be another year or 2 or 3? How long? And that's where my frustration is with Dwayne Casey is, I know you're not going to win 40 games this year. I know you're not even going to win 30. But where's the true growth? Where is the team is actually heading in the right direction? I don't see it.
Yeah.
I don't. So what are you selling on? I get another top draft pick. Yay. Fuck that. Seriously.
Listen, I get the frustration, but overall, you lose your franchise player. I mean, it's going to hurt. And on top of that, too, with Dwayne, they're losing games. We can all accept that Dwayne is not your head coach. He's not going to be there when you're winning playoff series. So sit, relax, enjoy the season. You're going to be picking top 4, and the Pistons are going to find their next head coach, whoever that is. And I know we bring up all these different types of names, but whoever that is, that's when that new culture, that new identity will be instilled, and you'll be way more optimistic looking at these games. Because if you have a Jerry Stackhouse, and I'm just using him as an example, and you're losing games and you're seeing the identity being built, that you can get behind. I get where you're coming from.
Are the players developing under Dwayne Casey, yes or no?
I have a different opinion because I think so. I mean, Killian Hayes, are we not going to give him credit for that? I mean, believing in Killian, he struggled all year, and then he starts him. And then he starts him after he struggled, and now he's playing well, and we're just saying, well, that's Killian. It has nothing to do with Dwayne Casey. It's like, we have to stop picking and choosing when to give credit.
And I'll tell you how I disassociate it.
Okay.
You can't give credit for a player finally coming into his own when there is no rhyme or reason on offense. It's Killian takes the ball up the court and let's just throw bodies and do the pick and roll. And if someone's open, he'll dish it off. If not, he's going to run in circles. Same with Corey Joseph. Same with Jaden Ivey. Same with Bogdanovich, except he's more aggressive and he'll just try and score. So, yes, you're right. Hayes is playing better. Casey can get credit for that. I have no issue in that. But what's the offense? What's the identity? If Steph Curry's going to miss a game tomorrow, the Warriors are going to play the exact same way. Except somebody else will be doing his role at a lesser degree, of course. They're not Steph, but the foundation, the offensive identity is there. Yeah. I don't see that. So, yes, you're right. Hayes is playing better. Some of these guys are playing better. That's great. But what does that mean? If there's no foundation of an offense that you can translate moving forward, what the hell does that mean? And like I said, when Cade and Ivy are healthy together on the same at the same time, what does that mean for Killian?
Right.
You're going to draft Victor Wembanyama? Okay. What about Killian? Where does he fit? I don't have a problem with Killian right now. I have a problem with how the team is being built and how they're playing, because it's not adding up. You need space. And Duren can't really provide it, right? He's going to clog the lane, but you want somebody like him 26, 28 minutes a game. Isaiah Stewart is more of a stretch 4 and needs to stop playing at the 5. Bagley is soon to be irrelevant on this basketball team. So how is it built to where Killian can thrive, but so can Ivy, and so can Cade, and then eventually this rookie that you're going to draft because of how bad you are this year?
Mm-hmm.
That's what's not adding up to me. It's not that Casey can't get credit for some of the individual play of players. I don't mind that. But there's no identity. And that's where I'm just going to continue to...
I'm a little split with that because I get what you're saying, but their identity was lost for the season. Like their identity, this whole team is built around.
But they were bad
Cunningham.
and had no offensive identity, even with Cade on the court this year.
But we knew, at least I did. I preached about that all summer. I knew they would struggle because you have two guys in your backcourt that have to learn to gel together.
And I can live with that.
So
and
I
you're
knew
right.
they'd struggle. I mean,
you're right.
That was
but
clear.
There was still no. This is the offense we're running. It was dribbling up the court, and what are we doing? All right, I'm going to attack the basket, and if they double me, I'm going to dish it out. That's not basketball, man. Basketball is not that simple and stupid. There's a science behind getting space, getting guys open, having shooters, having a balance between shooters, rebounders, and ball handlers on the court at the same time. There is a science, quote, that goes into it. I don't see it. But maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah. And if you have a problem with Dwayne's philosophy, that's fine.
That's really my
his
my
rotation.
gripe here.
That's okay to criticize that. I just think I'm a little less harsh on it because I understand the circumstances in which he's been given, and I understand he's not the future. If Dwayne was signed to a long-term, extension, I'd be criticizing everything. But
he says what? Pouring cement? If I gave you a rectangle, all right,
okay.
And I wasn't. That was the block that I needed to pour cement in. Okay? If I was pouring the cement outside of the fucking rectangle, I'm still pouring cement.
Right.
So, right?
Right.
But I'm not doing it correctly. Just because the young players are getting minutes doesn't mean they're growing and learning and getting better. Hayes, statistically, way better. Unbelievable. So happy for him.
Mm-hmm.
What does that mean? Because I don't know what it looks like in any other offense. Because I'm not sure what the offense is. But we'll leave it at that. Let's take a break. When we get back, the future of the NFC. This was a deep thought I had last night. Sitting there in my bed, thinking really hard about this. Are the Lions the team for the next 5-6 years? I can't believe we're having this conversation. But I'm going to make the case why I think they are. We'll have that in just a bit. But before we go, Jeff, our good friends over at the Sports Marketing Agency.
The Sports Marketing Agency helps spread awareness about mental health and substance abuse. Their new podcast, This is the S Word, helps fight the stigma about seeking help. If you or someone you know is struggling, tell them or even yourself to head to thesportsma.com for more information.
Love Woodward Sports? Love wearing clothes? Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports clothes. Check out our full line of merch at woodwardsports.com. Just click on Shop. We have all your favorite designs, like Dan Campbell kneecaps, Beverly Hills Golf, Woodward Golf, and of course, our own logoed out merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog. Buy Woodward Sports merch today. You'd
don't have to go to the beach, man. You don't have to get your butt crack full of sand. You just need a little chili peppers, man, to get that glowing beach chili peppers tan. Woo!
With 26 locations in the Metro Detroit area and more coming, Chili Peppers Tanning is where you'll find the cleanest salons in the D. Join the Pepper Club for the best deals on unlimited tanning. Head to chilipepperstanning.com.
You just need a little chili peppers, man.
Can't get enough Woodward Sports content? Head over to woodwardsports.com right now for up-to-date sports articles and great entertainment news. We have the best writers, bloggers, and coverage all at your fingertips. Head to woodwardsports.com right now to experience all Woodward Sports has to offer.
Jeff Iafrate here. Let me tell you about our friends at the Fulling Warehouse in Hamtramck, because it is the home of the original football bowling game. 2 to play for $12, unlimited open play. Or you can pay $120 for a lane reservation for up to 10 people. $2 mystery beer machine, full bar. Check it all out. FullingWarehouse.com.
All right, we are back. And no, we're not, because Jeff needs to tell you guys about Stuff a Studio.
Guys, let me tell you about it, because it is year 3 of the Woodward Sports Stuff a Studio, and it's here. We're collecting new unwrapped toys and stuffing our studio so we can hardly fit in it. You saw last year, toys all around me. It's going to be the same way this year. Join Woodward Sports and our whole family December 19th to the 23rd as we stuff our studio while you're out shopping. Make sure you grab one extra toy and drop it off at our studio off 15 Mile in Woodward in Birmingham. We will be collecting toys around the clock to make sure every child at Mott's Children's Hospital feels the warmth of the holiday season. Help us stuff our studio. Special thanks to all the wonderful elves at Meyer and Guardian Alarm for keeping the presents safe.
You can blame me as always. I mean,
Always
how do you
fish.
not?
Fucking idiot.
Yeah, that's fine.
Love you.
Love you too.
Oh,
Go
God.
Morocco! Beat France.
I hope so. I'm rooting hard for Morocco.
By the way, speaking of beat a team, the Army-Navy was pretty good this weekend. If any of you caught that game.
Overtime, right? First time in the game's history. Correct?
Double overtime.
Neil bet the over.
Neil was down there.
In overtime,
which was highly unlikely, but
Mm-hmm.
Neil just continues. I mean, he's
the
getting
get right.
He's getting everyone right.
It's the get right. All right. I'm going to name off teams for the next 3 to 5 years that I think are not only here to stay, as of right now, the way they're constructed, because that could change. It could change tomorrow. Because if the Panthers or the Falcons were to draft the next franchise guy in the NFL, well, that changes everything, right?
Right.
So with what information I have right now, here are the teams I think are here to stay, under any circumstance. The Philadelphia Eagles, the Dallas Cowboys, the San Francisco 49ers, the Minnesota Vikings, and the Detroit Lions. Those are my teams.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the 5 teams I believe in long term. Now, if the Giants go and address the quarterback position, you can include them. The Commanders, I'm not sure what I make of them, because they're 6-1-1 over their last 8. And they're doing really almost what the Lions have been doing.
Yeah.
Can't stop winning. But I do think that comes to an end this week against the Giants, even though they're at home. The Vikings, Kevin O'Connell, I like him. I believe in him. I think he's going to win a division or 2 or 3 in the next 6 years, if he's there for 6 years. I think the division goes through Minnesota and Detroit for the next 3-4 years. But why Detroit? Why is Detroit in this conversation when 6 weeks ago I wanted to fucking pull my hair out? Why? They've got the offensive line of the future. They have an offense that will be good for years to come, regardless of who's at quarterback.
Yep.
They have a defense that will improve and is only getting better, and they're young. One of the youngest teams in the NFL, might I add. And they have a head coach who has shown me at times he can be a complete fucking turd. But these last 6 games, he hasn't shown me that he can be an average coach. He hasn't shown me that he can even be a good coach. He's shown me in these 6 games, he's got very high upside. And if you can't see it, I can't help you. I can't. And I can't help myself if I'm not willing to adapt and see things for what they are. The truth is, the Lions are built perfectly in this NFC, in the state of the NFC now, to be a playoff team for 3-4 consecutive years starting next year. They can easily win 2 divisions in the next 4 years with the team they are assembling, With the draft picks they have this upcoming draft, with the salary cap space they will have, this excuse me.
You okay?
This is a football team, yeah.
Okay.
This is a football team that's here to stay. And I'm not sure where they're going. They don't have any contracts expiring. They don't have any big-time players that are getting big-time money, right? You're going to have to pay St. Brown in the future, sure. You're going to have to pay Aiden Hutchinson, but that's a long time from now. I mean, these next 3-4 years, guys, this Lions team, they're going to be one of the better teams in the NFC. They just are. With or without a franchise quarterback. And I think Jared Goff right now is more than serviceable. So I don't have an issue with Goff. I know Goff can get me to the playoffs. I know Goff can win me a division. He's done it before. It takes good coaching, it takes a good defense, and a very good support team on offense, which he has. You check all the boxes right now.
Yep.
And the way you've been playing, that is sustainable. I don't think this 5-1 stretch is fake. We had this conversation at 9 o'clock. I don't think it's fake. It's real. It's sustainable. And they're not going anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And that defense, the better it gets, the more difficult it will be to even play this team. And you'll see, they'll draft a running back in the 2nd, 3rd, or 4th round. And then that will work out. You go in free agency, get a linebacker. You'll draft a secondary player. You'll go out and get a veteran secondary player maybe as well. Who knows? Lions. We always felt confident about what Brad Holmes was doing. Now that Dan has them gelling on the field, it only takes the work that Brad has been doing and elevates it to the 10th degree. Because what I tell you before the year, with the roster they have right now, if I told you Mike Vrabel, if I told you Kyle Shanahan was the head coach of this team, John Harbaugh, how many games would they win? You looked me right in my face and said 10 or 11 games.
Yeah.
Dan Campbell right now, over the last 6 games, who has a better record than him, right? He is coaching at a very high level at the moment. And I get that type of coaching. Oh, it's fair game with this team. Oh, this team has a chance.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where I'm at this morning. I think the future of the NFC includes the Lions. I don't think you can talk about the next 2, 3 years, 4 years of who's going to be in the conversation without having the Lions in it. Because of the GM, because of what the coach is now doing, and you have solid quarterback play. So I don't have to worry about that either. So I can continue to make this roster really good. And if the coach is what you want him to be, all bets are off. This is going to be one of the better teams in the NFC, Jeff.
And you just hit on it, too. That was the point I was going to bring up. They check 3 boxes. General manager, coach, and quarterback. And I think everybody, at least Lions fans, can say they're confident in all 3 phases. You like your GM, clearly, Brad Holmes, all the talent he's been able to bring in. Dan Campbell, what he's done over the last 6 games, getting these guys to buy in, out-coaching opposing coaches. You could say safely you're confident in Dan Campbell. Then Jared Goff, the way he's been playing, I don't think anybody has anything bad to say about Jared Goff as of late. And then we get to the coaching staff, which I believe is one of the better coaching staffs personally in the NFL. I mean, look at Ben Johnson, already one of the best offensive coordinators, a young mind, a guy who's going to get looked at for head coaching jobs. And AG, from where he started in the beginning of the season to now with, I may repeat, or I should repeat, the 3rd youngest team in the NFL currently right now with an average age of 25 years old. And what he's doing with this defense is impressive over the last 6 games. So you like that. You like your offensive line, right? You could argue the best offensive line in football, or 2nd or 3rd if you want to put the Philadelphia Eagles up there. Hank Fraley has been doing a fantastic job with them as well. So you could go to Randall L. has been doing a great. I mean, you could go through the entire coaching staff, and then you get to the players, which are so young, especially on defense. I mean, that are going to be improved. Kirby Joseph, it's his rookie season. Aiden Hutchinson, his rookie season. James Houston, Malcolm Rodriguez. You can keep going on and on. These guys are going to get better. So for me, Adam, with the assets the Lions have, I mean, they have 2 first-round picks this year. They have multiple picks within the top 70. You have all that money in free agency that you're going to be able to go out and get some players. Their future is one of the brighter futures in the NFC, and let alone in the NFL. As long as they can stay the course and players are improving, Dan Campbell's improving, you can get off to a better start to start the season, there's no question in my mind the Lions are going to be lingering around for a while. As long as, because they've shown you the blueprint. They've shown you how they can win these games. And it's a high ceiling. I mean, you've seen the Lions' complete domination in some of these games. So for me, Adam, I agree with you. I think the Lions have one of the brighter futures in the NFL, but let alone the NFC. And it shows with assets in 3 phases that I hit on that you have the most confidence in since the beginning of this regime. So I'm telling you, and they're here for a couple more years.
I like it. Coming up, Todd McShay released his NFL mock draft. He had the Lions taking 2 players that one you love, one you don't. So I want to have that conversation, Jeff. But before we do, I want to talk about Crazy Clown in the chat. Wayne Fontes said if he had Goff as a coach, the Lions would have won 2 or 3 Super Bowls. Is that true? Did Wayne Fontes actually say that? Because if he did, return the message. Tell him Adam said suck his dick.
Don't do that.
You would never win anything with Wayne Fontes as your coach. He was a fucking idiot who wasted talent. I'll tell you this, the Lions would have gotten to a Super Bowl if they had a competent head coach during that span. I'll tell you that much. Give the Lions a top 8, top 10 coach in the 90s, and they probably get to a Super Bowl. Jared Goff, Wayne Fontes. Wayne Fontes, what a crackhead. Let's get to Todd McShay in a bit, but before we go, I got to tell you about what Jeff Okudah and Chad Johnson are doing December 20th for the community. Hope for the holidays. Jeff Okudah, the Detroit Lions, gives his financial support, time, and love for the city of Detroit by teaming up with Lady Jane's and Woodward Sports founder Chad Johnson and his amazing foundation, Wicked Awesome Wishes. They'll be providing new shoes, new clothing, warm coats, hats, socks, haircuts to make everybody feel and look better for the holiday season, along with warm meals and great holiday cheer. Again, hope for the holidays. Awesome stuff that they're doing. Support it on social media. Spread the word. We'll see you guys in just a bit.
It's back. Year 3 of Woodward Sports Stuffa Studio is here. The past 2 years, we've collected new unwrapped toys and stuffed our studio so we could hardly fit in it. This year, we're doing it even bigger. Join Woodward Sports and our whole family December 19th to the 23rd as we stuff our studio. While you're out shopping or just sitting on your couch ordering presents, make sure you grab one extra and drop it off at our studio, 15 Mile in Woodward in Birmingham. We'll be collecting toys around the clock to make sure every child in Mott's Children's Hospital feels the warmth of the holiday season. It's the time of year to do for others. Help us stuff our studio. Special thanks to all the wonderful elves at Meyer and Guardian Alarm for keeping the toys safe. Stuff a Studio 2022 with Woodward Sports.
The sports marketing agency would not be who we are without great community partners like Higuera Health and Carol Zaniga.
It's an awesome opportunity to partner with your organization. Higuera Health is a comprehensive behavioral health organization. We serve children through older adults with mental health, substance use, and developmental disabilities across Western Wayne counties, and really excited to now be in downriver communities as well. Give us a call at 734-458-4601.
Introducing the Planet Fitness Guide to getting that post-workout glow. Step 1, what's your why? More epic energy, better sleep, blow off steam? Step 2, join Planet Fitness for just $10 a month and get moving in our clean and spacious clubs. Step 3, bask in that post-workout glow. Join Planet Fitness today for just $10 a month.
Join today at any of the 50-plus Detroit area locations.
The only sports network in Detroit that starts with a W. You know, because we win. Woodward Sports, Detroit's winning sports network.
Let me tell you about my good friend Michael Phillips. He's the best in the game for a reason. Not only has he been in the game for over 23 years, Michael cares about you and will make you his top priority, just like he made me and my wife when we bought our first home together. So what are you waiting for? Real estate needs, looking to buy or sell in this hectic market? Michael Phillips is your number one call. 313-403-0011. That's 313-403-0011. We are back, 9:44. Beautiful Wednesday morning. Jeff, hit me.
So Todd McShay comes out with his yearly mock draft. This is the first edition. And I want to, you haven't seen it yet, which I think is interesting. So I want to go through the first couple picks. The Lions pick 4 right now, currently. And I want to have you guess, because the chat, I'm assuming, has seen it already. Don't spoil it, although you probably will. But Adam, I'll go with the first pick. The Houston Texans, they hold the number 1 pick currently.
Bryce Young?
Easily. Bryce
All right,
Young. That's
cool.
the only quarterback.
I'm 1 for 1.
That's the only quarterback that I would consider for the Lions. Moving on, number 2.
Will Anderson.
The Seahawks select Jalen Carter, number 2 overall.
Interesting.
There's already talks with trying to extend Geno Smith. Clearly, they like Jalen Carter. He goes number 2. Number 3, the Bears.
Will Anderson.
Will Anderson goes to the Bears, number 3. And it puts the Lions in a tough spot at 4, which... Todd McShay had an interesting selection here. Who do you think it is?
Oh, God. Todd McShay. Will Anderson, Jalen Carter off the board. I'm going to say Stroud or Miles Murphy.
C.J. Stroud. And his reasoning for this, and I want to read it off because he put a little explanation under it. He said, everything fell perfectly for the Lions here, allowing them to draft their signal caller for the future without moving up. Stroud has thrown 37 touchdown passes this season and still has as many as 2 games left and is 3rd in the nation in QBR. Jared Goff has played well under center as of late, but he's not the long-term answer. Stroud, who makes good decisions with the football, displays great touch, and has a big arm, could learn behind Goff for a season before Detroit moves on and builds around a talented passer on a rookie deal. Detroit has a top 5 offense and a very good supporting cast already in place.
I don't think Todd's wrong. Honestly.
It really depends if they like CJ that much.
Let's be real here. I'm not lobbying for CJ Stroud. Let's just start with that. I'm not. But is there a better situation for any quarterback in the NFL to walk into than the Lions right now? No, I don't think so.
No, I agree with you.
So if you're telling me Jared starts next year and I get to sit my rookie for a year, I really don't hate that pick. Now, do I want Stroud? I don't. But when it's Todd McShay or whoever
Todd
it is,
McShay.
when they're selling you on drafting a quarterback at 4 and those 2 players are off the board, Carter and Will Anderson, I don't hate it. I don't get disgusted by it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, would I do it? No. But I can campaign for it. I can actually make sense of it. It's not like a foreign concept to me to draft a quarterback, sit him a year, and then make a decision on Goff at the end of next year. It's not a bad thing. But for me, I'd rather upgrade defense. I'd rather actually trade back in that scenario where Carter and Anderson are gone.
Yeah.
I'm trading back a little bit. And I'm either taking a secondary player at 7 or 8, maybe a Ringo.
Yep.
And then at 15, I'll go get it. Makes the draft interesting. I may go get an interior lineman, Miles Murphy, if he falls. I may consider, I don't know about 2 secondary players, but it makes the draft really interesting when Carter and Anderson are off the board. I don't hate the idea of Stroud if you love him. If you don't believe in Stroud, I'm sure you hate this conversation right now. But for those of you that do like him, and if Brad Holmes does like him or love him, I don't hate the pick. I just don't. I would be lying to you. I think that's actually smart. You sit his ass for a year. You draft a secondary player at pick 15. You go boost the interior in the 2nd round. You go get a running back maybe in the 2nd round. You get another secondary player maybe. You get a linebacker maybe. You still have free agency to address all this. Then you have the rest of the draft to do what the hell you want. I don't hate Stroud at 4. I may not love him, but I don't hate it.
Yeah, and again, it's different because you're talking to a lot of Michigan fans. And obviously, just in general, looking at C.J. Stroud, the lack of success from Ohio State quarterback, it's a little sketchy. But I want to, Alex, if you could, put a poll before we go to break. I want to see what the people think here. If you're picking at 4, do you pick C.J. Stroud, Miles Murphy, or we'll go Brian Bresee, defensive tackle out of Clemson? And you could even throw Ringo in there if you want.
If you don't mind.
Those are the options. Because unless you want to take Will Levis goes
I don't mind
6th.
I don't mind
overall.
that conversation, but Pistons fan 11, one of my favorite people in the chat typically, shouldn't be having these talks right now because if we somehow make the playoffs, you cannot justify a quarterback at 4. Piston fan, don't do that to me, buddy. The Chiefs were 12-4 and traded up to 10 to draft Patrick Mahomes. Don't talk to me about that. Don't you dare. If you don't like C.J. Stroud as a prospect, I respect that. You can hate this pick. I don't want C.J. Stroud. I'm not advocating for you to draft him. But what I'm telling you is, I don't think Todd McShay is crazy.
No, I don't think
or
he's
that
crazy.
Brad Holmes would be crazy to draft Stroud at 4 if that's how the board plays out right now. Because the reality is, you sit him next year, And you have the key to your franchise for the next 4 years after that sitting in the weights on a rookie contract, which is the most valuable thing in the NFL. I don't hate that. Now, do I love the prospect? I don't. I don't right now. And this isn't about draft talk, where I'm going to tell you should or shouldn't take somebody. But going off Todd McShay's board, I don't think that's horrible. And just because the Lions, if they do make the playoffs, that doesn't mean they don't draft a quarterback. The Chiefs did. What's the problem? So, no, I'm going to back off that a little bit. Will Levis, hell no. I'm off Will Levis under any circumstance. But I don't hate the C.J. Stroud pick in that scenario. I don't think that's an awful decision. I don't.
Yeah, I think it's
a great situation for any quarterback.
Yeah, I'm not hating the pick. Although I disagree, I'd probably go Myles Murphy here. Just because defensively, I mean, that's clearly a need.
I mean, you know where we are.
Yeah, we agree.
You want to bolster up the defense.
Absolutely.
But reacting to that, I don't think that's ludicrous.
If Brad Holmes selected C.J. Stroud at 4, I don't think we'd be sitting up here crapping on the decision. I mean, it is what it is. Although you disagree with it, do you trust Brad Holmes?
When you make that decision, you're all in.
Yeah. That's your quarterback.
So whether it's this year, 2024, or 25, Goff is playing at a level where he gives you time to make that decision. Right. But I don't hate this. You can't sit up here and say, oh, Todd McShay's a fucking idiot.
Now,
if I told you, remove the name.
Yeah.
Remove the names. I told you could draft your franchise quarterback this year at 4. Would you do it?
And it's not even your pick? Yes. Because it's the Rams pick.
That's what you're doing. You're trying to draft the franchise guy. I don't hate this. But let's get that poll up. Let's go to break. When we get back, mailbag time. We'll continue the conversation. We'll also take all of your questions, please.
Yes.
We'll be right back. Give us just 1 minute. But before we go, Jeff, our good friends over at Cintron.
Well, Cintron is the official energy drink of the Red Wings. Cintron has combined all 3 of their delicious flavors into a limited edition 6-pack sampler box. You can try Cintron's great tasting cranberry, classic, and sugar-free all in one pack. Pre-order your Cintron 6-pack sampler box today at cintronworld.com/Red Wings. Get energized with Cintron.
Love Woodward Sports? Love wearing clothes? Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports clothes. Check out our full line of merch at woodwardsports.com. Just click on Shop. We have all your favorite designs, like Dan Campbell kneecaps, Beverly Hills Golf, Woodward Golf, and of course, our own logoed out merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog. Buy Woodward Sports merch today.
What's a winter wonderland if you can't shop, eat, and play? Lucky for you, you can do it all at the Downtown Detroit Market, Cadillac Lodge, and the new winter version of the Monroe Street Midway, all located just across the street from Campus Martius Park. Find the fun at deckedoutdetroit.com.
Hi, I'm John from Better Rate Mortgage, and to me, family is more than blood. That's why I have the biggest family in Metro Detroit. If you're looking to buy a house or refinance and need a loan, come get treated better than family by me and our entire team here at Better Rate Mortgage. We pride ourselves on giving you better advice, better service, and a better loan experience. That's why we are Better Rate. If you're looking for a new mortgage, come get treated like family. Actually, better with Better Rate Mortgage. Visit us at mybetterrate.com or call at 248-480-4467 today.
We don't like to brag that we are the toughest sports network in Detroit, but we do have a guy named Darren McCarty on our side.
Lemieux and McCarty, who've had a good knockdown drag up. There they go, right on the whistle. They were talking to one another.
Woodward Sports.
So proud of Ryan Ermanni and the job he's done for his body and his life, and it's all thanks to our good friends over at Custom Health Centers, Dr. Jason and his staff. A healthy, safe plan for Ryan Ermanni to lose now over 20 pounds since he started. A night and day difference. So happy for him. And if you're looking to change your life, give him a call, 844-789-8446.
Looks beautiful.
All right, we threw up a poll. Who should the Lions take at pick number 4? 53% of you say Myles Murphy. The other 35% of you say a franchise quarterback. Interesting.
At least I love the thinking of the audience here. Take the best defensive player available. Miles Murphy.
Mailbag. Does his team need a few more veterans to balance out the young players? On the Lions, Todd, I would say yes. I do agree. You do need some veteran presence, but in the NFL, you can win young. The Cowboys are one of the younger rosters. You do need some of your better players to be veterans, though. It does help. It helps so much, actually. So that is important. I understand the poll, but we're not considering free agency. What if Brad Holmes can sign Daron Payne? Are we still going D-line with the Rams pick? No, that would change it, obviously. Just like it would change the 15th overall pick if you went out and got a Roquan Smith or an elite secondary player, right? So, no, of course not. And that's the conversation. So, with the information you have to have the conversation that's in front of you. Holmes is trading the pick for a future first so he can get his hands on J.J. McCarthy with multiple picks? No. Nope. No, it's not happening. It's not happening at all. The Lions aren't moving out of 4 unless they get 3 first-round picks for somebody who wants Stroud or Levis. That's the only way that's going to happen.
Mailbag, if Hutchinson has a great game this week and Goff does well against the Jets D and the Lions get a win, is Sauce still the favorite for Defensive Rookie of the Year?
It's going to be define a good game. If he goes out and gets another sack and a half, 2 sacks, I mean, he's entered the conversation evenly with Sauce. I think it becomes even, but Sauce shuts down a whole side of the field right now.
And he's
already top 6, top 7 at his position. You could argue top 5.
And he's been doing that since week 1. So it's a little tougher. I know it took a couple games for Aiden to really start hitting his stride. But I would agree. I think, towards
who's
the end
the
of
number
the
one
season,
rated defensive corner in the NFL?
I'm assuming Sauce.
Okay, you know who's the number 1 rated cover corner in the NFL?
I'm assuming Mr. Sauce.
You know who's the number, let's see, Sauce Gardner, where is he? Top 20 in tackling. He does it all.
Yeah.
He's number 1 in PFF on defense, number 1 in coverage, top 20 in tackling. Yeah. Come on.
Yeah,
Sauce is playing at a different level. He's one of the 100 best players in the NFL. Aiden isn't yet. He isn't. He's getting there.
Yeah.
He's showing the elite pass rushing traits that you wanted when you drafted him. That doesn't mean he was a bad pick. Sauce is just day one already one of the best corners in the NFL, and I'm not sure why I should reward anybody else but him right now.
Right.
He's the front runner. And I think it would take 13 sacks from Aiden Hutchinson to win this award. I just do. And even be considered. It's going to be tough, man.
I think you're just projecting your MSU bias like Will says in the chat.
Well, suck my fucking dick, all right? I'm the one who told you to draft the fucking kid.
I know, and you said he'd win Defensive Rookie of the Year before the season.
Fucking idiot.
So,
Will, I have a dick. You can suck it.
But, no, don't do that,
Jesus
Will. I would not recommend that. But you make a great point. I mean, Sauce has been, he's incredible, man. To do what he's doing as a rookie, as a corner, it's unbelievable. It really is. And he plays in New York. I think just be happy Aiden's in the race. I think we could take away that. He's in the race. So
Aiden's been the second best defensive rookie this year, hands down. It's not even close. Tariq Woolen, I think, is a distant third, but he's been exceptional statistically. But Sauce is at a different level. I'm sorry.
He really is.
Aiden is not one of the best 10 pass rushers in the NFL right now. Sauce is one of the 10 best corners. Aiden isn't one of the 5 best pass rushers in the NFL right now. Sauce is one of the 5 best.
You're talking
corners.
about the hardest position besides quarterback to play in the NFL, and he's excelling at it immediately. It's impressive. Really is, to say the least.
All right, what other questions do we have?
What do we got here? I know, Mailbag, what would you guys give up for Marshawn Lattimore? Saints will need to free up some cap space, and a Lattimore, Okudah, Jacobs cornerback room is spicy.
I don't know. Lattimore struggled with injuries. I'm not sure. Not sure how I feel
you got
about that.
AG. AG has a relationship with him, so you never know. You never know. He'd be an upgrade over Ermanni Awarie. We can all,
if
agree
the
there.
stat still holds true, up until last week, Sauce Gardner had given up 7 yards in man coverage. Maybe it's now at 12, 13, the whole year in man coverage.
Yeah,
Stop it.
They don't throw.
Dude is the definition of a shutdown corner.
Yeah.
When you talk to me about, Jeff Okudah potentially being a shutdown corner in the NFL, just go look around. J.C. Horn, Sauce Gardner, Patrick Surtain at times. Those are the shutdowns. That's what you want. That's what you're looking for.
Right.
That guy on his own is stopping one side of the field. He's excellent.
Mm-hmm.
That's not to take away from Aiden. Aiden's been exceptional. He's been the best player outside of Sauce Gardner this year. There's nothing wrong with that.
Right.
We're out of here. 10 o'clock. Enjoy the France-Morocco game at 2 o'clock. I'll give you some bets before I go. Take Morocco to upset the French. Yes, Morocco to upset the French.
Morocco.
It's easy money.
Wow,
Great
not
odds.
easy money,
France are the heavy favorites. Take the underdog. This World Cup has been crazy. I don't think France get to a second consecutive World Cup final. Give me Morocco to complete the wonder story and get to the World Cup finals. If you want to take goal scorers in this game, I think the only goal scorer you can bet, because I really don't know everybody on the Moroccan team, they're going to get goals from their center backs or somebody off a set piece. But give me Mbappe. I think Mbappe gives you one more goal.
Okay.
Yeah.
And give me Morocco through. Those are my 2 bets. We're out of here. You guys have a great rest of your day. Enjoy. We'll see you tomorrow on Thursday. Big D Energy coming up at 11 o'clock. Make sure you're watching. Till tomorrow, from Jeff and myself, goodbye.
Go Morocco. How do you not beat France?